So what up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we are going to be doing Jupiter in the sign of Libra and what happens when Jupiter comes to the sign of Libra. So, what is the sign of Libra? The sign of Libra represents balance and harmony and negotiation, partnerships, and legal documents. Okay, seventh house is the energy of Libra. So Libra carries that seventh house energy anywhere it goes. So Libra represents that balance in life where we deal with people, where we deal with other people, make negotiation, make contracts, like a marriage. Marriage is simply a contract that you make with an enemy. That's all it is, you know? And Libra also represents the marketplace. Libra represents doing business because it's you deal with other people. The first sign of Aries, that's the self. Libra is the other, so you deal with other people. It's controlled by Venus, so it naturally represents artistic talent, musical talent, talent for art and design. And then you bring Jupiter here. Jupiter is wisdom, knowledge, the truth, the spiritual guidance, the preacher. It's the guide, the teachers that you have in your life. So when you bring Jupiter in the sign of Libra, here these people have a certain set of wisdom when they make deals with other people. They end up, Jupiter's knowledge goes into dealing with other people, goes into making contracts with other people, which can represent what? A lawyer. It can represent a lawyer. It can represent somebody who's a matchmaker. Like, you have all these people who have websites online, matchmaking websites. They're personally a matchmaker, playing the hitch. These people have Jupiter in the sign of Libra. They are they become this negotiator guide. Like they guide the people. Hey, I think this person's going to be better for you, and I think this person's going to be bad for you. So the teachers, the professor, or the guidance comes into play in negotiation. So these people have this natural inclination of making deals, but in that though, they may not be the greatest deal maker, because in order to make a deal, you have to be clever. Okay, like Mercury. You have to know the ins and outs and the dirty little tricks to play with the opposite to get the better deal. Jupiter doesn't do that. Jupiter is about like, hey, I stand for the truth, I stand for the right things, and I stand for the law that is written, and I will follow the law. So of course these people can be those really true lawyers who will go out and actually will try to present the right honest things. But the thing is, then they will lose at it. Why? Because they're presenting too much of the truth. They're not really being clever enough to, mold the truth and say something else in order to win the case, in order to make that deal. So although, Jupiter does his job here, again, this is a sign where he's not comfortable in, because it's a sign of his enemy, Venus. Now, it's literally in literal terms his enemy, where Jupiter really doesn't have that animosity against Venus. It's just that Venus represents pleasure, where Jupiter is like, no, pleasure is not everything. You have to learn the higher knowledge. Venus says, no, 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 it's all about the pleasure and happiness. This is why he's not comfortable here. However, he does possess the knowledge and the wisdom of the arts, the creative arts. The uh, the ability to design something. And when they design something, there's a philosophical meaning behind it. Like if a designer has Jupiter in the sign of Libra, they will try to bring some sort of a culture into their design, some sort of a philosophy into their design. So let's say if they believe that they do not want to use those child laborers, they do not want to use those people who are living the absolute poverty life and not making any money from him to make that dress. This designer will not do it, he or she. They will go out and they will create a brand based on, hey, I am first of all using the regular people, and I'm doing it in my own country, like how US companies are shipping out outside of the country to make the deal. These will be the people who will be like, no, I'm going to make in the US, and I'm going to be showing how the true way of doing clothing designing is. So they try to do these things, and that's where they kind of lose on that, because of the fact, in order to make a deal, in order to do business, you gotta somehow get something for really cheap and sell it for a lot of money, and they feel like, no, that's not fair. And then that's the problem. Jupiter tries to be fair here in Libra, that hey, because Libra is a sign of fairness, everything needs to be balanced. But the problem is that because Jupiter is adding his own value system, adding his own principles in it, he ends up getting the lower end of the bargain. He ends up not getting the balanced deal, as you should say. They will try to add their own little philosophical mumbo jumbo into the deal, and next thing you know, they're just not getting as much as they should have had if they used their brain like the Mercury does. And since Jupiter represents a husband in a female's chart, a female with Jupiter in Libra will usually attract somebody who's a businessman, somebody who is an attorney, somebody who makes deals out there in the market, who goes out and deals with other people. And so usually having to deal with people and creating contracts and negotiation is the job of a lawyer. So usually these women will end up either with a lawyer or with some sort of a businessman, somebody who's out there has different businesses. All right, so this is how Jupiter kind of becomes. He's imagine, like he's in the sign of Libra, like the house of Libra, and the landlord is Venus. Venus is setting the rules. Venus is like, Jupiter, I know you're this righteous guru who has all the knowledge. Well, you're going to have to bring that knowledge now into deal making. You're going to have to bring that knowledge now into art. You're going to have to build that knowledge now into relationships and creativity. So, although these people may end up with a businessman or a lawyer spouse, however, that spouse is going to be quite philosophical in and quite a good person in terms of, how they do business, how they negotiate contracts. They'll be the one who will stand for the right thing instead of like cheating other people. So, yes, Jupiter can create a lot of wealth because of this, because again, one planet is not setting the tone here. It's just that the only thing that will stay consistent with people in the sign of Libra with Jupiter is that they would want to make the deal that is right and fair for both parties. They will not want to be clever in doing any kind of thing that will be, let's say, if Mars was in Libra, or Mercury was in Libra, or Rahu was in Libra, how they will try to like sneak behind and do their own little intellectual, sweet talk and get the other person a deal that really is not fair for them. However, they get the bigger end of the pie. Jupiter is like, no, let me just cut it right down the middle. That's what business is. So that's how Jupiter acts, because he is the most natural benefic out there. He's the guidance, he's the guru. So no matter where he's placed, he's going to try to be as fair as possible. All right. So guys, this is my analysis of Jupiter in the sign of Libra. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know where your Jupiter is placed in the true degree of original astrology, check out the link below. Check out my books there, Astrology at the Speed of Light and Conjunctions at the Speed of Light. And when you get those books, I will send you the link to look at your own chart. Just make sure you follow the directions below. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. And remember, Sam Jippy will be here on Monday to do that compatibility testing, or that compatibility, not testing, compatibility, analysis and lecture on somebody I picked from my Facebook page. All right. See you later. Bye-bye.